Hey, welcome back to the Cruxman. We're here. We did it. It's episode 5. I'm just gonna get to it.
Pretty sure this is episode 6, but
whatever. Shit. You know what I'm saying?
just trying to keep you honest. That's all.
Episode 6.
All right, get after it. Serious face.
Something that we're getting something that you've been wanting to talk about for like a minute, which is appreciation. And all that comes with that. So I'm just gonna kick it off with this, and then we'll just go from there. If you are a breadwinner, let's just say, and here's the situation.
Okay.
So a friend of mine is a very awesome individual. Works, will just, works her ass off. Like, just relentless, tenacious, all those good things. But she also supports folks that don't recognize her efforts in terms of just appreciating what she does and what she brings to the table. She's very and she's very selfless, whereas everyone she's around is very selfish, who she's taking care of. And so, in terms of appreciation, what does that like mean to you? Like for her, she feels unappreciated in that scenario and is conflicted because all she wants to do is see everybody do well. But something as simple as like a thank you is not even uttered out of these individuals' mouths, and she's feeling some kind of a way, which I completely understand. So where are you with that? What is it that you are after? What does that mean to you in terms of like your efforts and those around you and your expectations? Because this is expectations at the end of the day, right? And so, yeah, where do you land with that in terms of appreciation? Like, what is that all encompassing? What does that mean to you?
So I'll answer your question with a question, but then I'll follow it up with a statement. And the question is more rhetorical in nature, unless you know the answer. Has she established boundaries with these folks she's taking care of?
No.
Okay.
And that's something that I've communicated on a regular basis. But I think it takes this life to dictate to you to establish said boundaries. It's hard. It's easy for me to say that, having lived the life and done the things that I've done and understood what I need to survive in dealing with people, especially people that I care for. You know what I'm saying? I got to have boundaries or I'm going to go insane. And then when I go insane, either I destroy someone else or I destroy myself. Something's going to happen. You know what I mean? So I have to have that line.
There's negative energy there, and it has to go somewhere, right? So you can either put it on other people or you put it on yourself, which we've talked about plenty of times. Where you know me very well. I tend to bottle up and then just suppress downward, all that negative energy from me because Lord knows I deal with a lot of bullshit on the day to day, and it's. Let me get back to the appreciation piece. So. Establishing boundaries, first and foremost, is very critical, I think, when it comes to any relationship, right? Whether it be husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, best friend, your kids, family members. Family members are the worst. I mean, because family members, they just think there are no boundaries. Like, oh, we're blood, therefore I'm entitled to whatever you have, your time, et cetera, et cetera. And fuck that. That's just not it.
Which is not true.
I got family members who I have deaded, to use your terminology. I have deaded, lose my fucking number, don't call me, don't talk to me, because the only time you ever call me and try to talk to me is when you fucking need something. You haven't called me to ask me about how my kids are doing. You haven't called to tell them fucking happy birthday. You don't even call to tell me happy birthday. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, relationships are I mean, there's certainly a give and take. That sounds cliche, but I think especially when you're in a mature relationship, again, regardless of the relationship, it has to be a give and take. Everyone, and meaning, actually, you know what? Let me go back on that. I think it has to be a give, right? So, like, if I've got someone in my life and all they do is take, I don't need them in my life anymore, right? And especially if they take without appreciation. So, right, I'm going to bring that back into the circle. If all they do is take, they never say thank you, they never show gratitude. They do things like, I've experienced this in the past where people they ask and ask and they take, and then when you finally put your foot down, regardless of the situation, and you say, no, I'm not going to do that for you anymore, whatever it may be, they get fucking pissed off as if you owed them something, when all you've been doing is giving to them the entire time. So, yeah, for me, this person you're talking about, one, they have to establish boundaries. And establishing boundaries after you've already set a precedent of getting walked all over, it's very difficult to do. It's hard to come back from that without pissing people off. But you have to.
I disagree.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I disagree right there. And I'm gonna say like this. This is and this is how I feel. Fuck their feelings, right?
That's why I said it's hard to do it without upsetting folks.
Who gives a fuck? I've been upset. If you have been upset this entire time,
shit, my bad,
and no one has cared about your feelings, why are you concerned with their feelings now?
Because
why should you give a fuck about their feelings?
Because that's why you let them walk all over you in the first place. You're trying to make everybody fucking 100%.
Well, exactly. So now, if and this isn't even, and I having been in situations like this. Now, granted, this has nothing to do with me. However, I get fired up because when people start talking about their feelings and shit, I don't give a damn, right? Because if you are doing all that you can for an individual or individuals, right, fam or not fam, whatever the fuck, if they are upset because now you said, you know what, here's my hard line, and I'm tired of being shitted on a regular basis and disrespected on a regular basis, you're having a fucking fit now? I don't give a damn. That's how I feel, right? So when it comes to stuff like that, and this is what I said, you know what? I think you should, and I'm not going to tell anybody how to live their life. However, I think you should fall back. I think you should go ahead and live your life. I think that these individuals need to know what life is like without you there, right? And I think that you being miserable, it's not because of you, it's because you have this expectation that people are going to do. You can't be a hard charger and be around bums and think that you're going to get the outcome in terms of everybody doing well when you're giving everybody everything.
It's called tough love for a reason. You gotta show tough love to teach people. Man, like, dude, I have an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old at home, right? Little girls. And I guarantee you, compared to the majority of the population out here, those two little girls do more for me and my wife than most grown folks do for each other. And they do it just inherently. You know what I mean? Like, it's just an intrinsic thing. Like, they're like, Dad, I want to help with the dishes. Now, I understand that what we consider chores, they consider, challenges, which is translated into fun, I think, for them. But when you got, an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old out here being more appreciative and more respectful than the majority of these 20 and 30-somethings running around complaining that they're not getting handed shit, I am very hard on my kids. And I'm hard on them because when they get older, I want them to operate in a world on a level how you and I operate, which is that you have grown people conversations. If someone does something for you, you are always polite and respectful and you show appreciation. And when you're given the opportunity, you return that favor to them. That's how that relationship needs to work, and it doesn't have to be equal. It doesn't mean like, if somebody buys you dinner, right? You get taken out to dinner, whatever, it's your birthday, whatever the situation, I had a fellow, I'm out on the road and I had a guy that I'm out here with buy my dinner the other night. He didn't have to. But let's live in a world real quick, a make-believe world, if you will, where I can't afford to buy his dinner the next time we go out. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to come up with some other creative way of showing my appreciation aside from saying thank you. Saying thank you is just the base level. Like that should be automatic. Someone does something nice for you, you say thank you. And you say it with gusto. You know what I mean? You don't say like thanks in passing, like you fucking deserve to have shit done for you. You don't deserve shit. No one in this world really deserves shit to be done for them. So when someone out of the goodness of their heart does something for you, you being whoever this is, you fucking say thank you. And you follow it up with any form of appreciation you can. You know, maybe you don't have the money to return the favor, but maybe you frequent this person's house. I don't know. I'm just random thoughts here. And you're like,
the simple shit.
You're like, hey, you know, like, thanks for, you know, having me over for dinner. Completely separate side note. Like, hey, thanks for having me over.
Let me do those dishes.
Let me do the fucking dishes. And you know what?
Yes.
Don't even ask. Don't ask, because when you ask,
get your ass up.
Because you're inviting the owner of the home, the host, you're giving them the option at that point. Don't give them the fucking option. Just do nice things for other people, especially when they do nice things for you. Outside of that, for people who don't do nice things for you, Mother Teresa the shit out of this life.
Shit. No, absolutely. There's folks that like that you can't get away from just because they are fam, and that's all well and good, right? There's people that you have to even work with that you don't have to care for, but you still got to interact with them. My thing is, when it gets to like that, instead of having that resentment bubble up, just love them from afar. Get away from them as fast as possible and keep that distance away, because those people are toxic. And until they change their tune, until they are operating at another level where you can like, okay, that makes more sense to me now, and we can actually speak like normal human beings and interact, and maybe you're like, they're actually trying to come up, then of course, by all means, you can go back to doing what you do and assisting. But like, if people don't want to do anything and you're trying to help them in every way, shape, or form, do not exhaust yourself. Use your energy on yourself. Stay focused on you and let them fucking go. You know what I'm saying? One thing that I've learned is that, and this is like my hard positive, I will not let other people drag me to hell. Simple as that. I've already seen some dark places. I'm not going to go there voluntarily on the strength of someone else. I've taken myself there. I survived it. I'm back. But I know now better to let anyone else take me there ever again. And I think when it comes to appreciation, shit like this, now this is why I am who I am as well, right? This is why I do what I do. I don't give a fuck about appreciation. I do for me. I do for mine, people that I rock with. And as long as I am working in that direction, I am content. I achieve the desired effect. I get to achieve the goal. I am content. Mm-hmm. But I'm not looking for nobody high-fiving me. I don't need congratulations. I don't need a fucking plaque. I don't need shit. Just leave me the fuck alone. And I am content with my achievements. My achievements. You know what I'm saying? I'm not out here looking for applause. You know what I mean? I don't want no fucking applause. Yeah. My daughter doing her thing in school is all the validation I need to know that I did my job as a father. The fact that she goes out there, she does her job like I tell her to do on a regular basis. That's how I know that she appreciates the sacrifices that I make when we go hang out and we go do the things that we do. Go give me those grades. Go be a beast. Play soccer, play volleyball, do these things, and go out there and become that doctor you say you want to be. That's my thank you by you doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Outside of that, I don't give a fuck.
Well, you know what?
Do your fucking job.
That reminds me of another quote. I'm going to quote you something else that you said on a previous episode. I think we were talking about, a couple of alphas living in the house together type of relationship, right? And you made the comment of, if you premeditatively, that's a word, go after or seek out doing the things your partner needs. If you do those things in a preemptive strike, the preemptive strike, you do it in a premeditated way. Mm-hmm. Like the concrete is always there, right? The foundation is always solid for that particular relationship. And I think that applies to this scenario as well. I mean, if we're talking about basic, establishing boundaries with folks and having people, showing appreciation and stuff like that, it's not a conversation if people are already doing that preemptively. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, this to be clear, like and this is where it takes a team, right? Like if someone knows, like the way, like I said, once again, you don't have to have money. It's not about money. But if the breadwinner's going out and they're busting their ass all day, what you should be doing is making their life easy when they come home. They shouldn't have to do more work when they come home, and your punk ass has been there all fucking day.
Yo,
you understand?
Dishes,
like that's not how it should be.
Laundry, floors, dinner.
Let me eat some out the gate.
Dinner.
I shouldn't have to worry about a motherfucking thing. When I come through the door, if you've been sitting here all day, you talk about you care about me, appreciate me. 90%, 95% of the time, I should come home and it should just be on point. Because that means that lets me know that, like, yo, the last thing that this person wants to deal with is whatever. All you have to do is focus over here. I got this over here. You know what I'm saying? And it's nothing demeaning about that. It's just, once again, saying thank you in your way that you can do so. Because you cannot provide the financial resource. So let them go ahead and do that. And then you show them your appreciation by saying, hey, I got you with this.
First of all,
how are you holding that person down, right? That's
if anybody's sitting here talking about like they feel like it's a demeaning thing to ask you to do something for, like they've got some insecurities, some deep-seated evil, and they're like,
because people swear up and down that they can't fucking do nothing no more. Like being a follower is the best way of being a motherfucking leader. If you think that you can't take out some trash, you can't do this, you can't do that, who the fuck are you that you said you can't serve, right? Serving someone, right, is not about just necessarily going to work. When you serve someone, that is the utmost. That's like the best thing you could do for someone, right? To give, to serve, right? For me. That's how I feel. There's nothing in this fucking world that I really want other than like world travel. That's like about it. I want my daughter to be well, right? But I'm not a materialistic dude. For me, it's all about simplicity. I'm just like I keep it very chill, right? I just want a TV I can watch. That's preferably very HD. You know what I'm saying? I want a comfortable couch. I want food in my fridge. Yeah. Maybe a beverage to sip from time to time. A comfortable bed to sleep in, and hot fucking water when I say so. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really it. And I want to be able to not only have hot water, but hot water for as long as I want. I'm not trying to take no 2-minute shower. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want. I want it simple. I need a car to get me from point A to point B. You know what I'm saying? That's it. When I put that key in, turn that bad boy, I need you to fire up. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I want my people around me to provide value. You know what I'm saying? In terms of I don't want to hear necessarily nonsense nonstop, but we can exchange ideas. It's not me just one way flowing one way or the other. Like them telling me, blah, 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 and I'm just and vice versa. It's an exchange of ideas where I walk away from that interaction feeling better, uplifted, motivated. You know what I'm saying? This is the type of world that I want, and I have built around me. Anybody that does not follow that Salt's world, Salt's fucking rules, they ain't here. Simple as that. Now, granted, it took a while for me to get to this point, but I'm too grown to be doing dumbass shit by letting motherfuckers who aren't for me infiltrate my world. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I don't rock with these individuals on a regular basis for that reason. I rock with certain folks because these certain folks are consistent, number one. And number two, I know what I'm going to get at it, where I can go ahead and I can still keep pushing forward. And I'm not going to be, my energy will not be dampened by being around these individuals or putting myself in this situation. You know what I'm saying? It pushes me to be better, not to be worse off than when I got here.
So let me.
It's hard enough to be in this world.
No. This is a question for you that's going to further where you're going this direction, but I don't want it to get so far off topic that I forget. So, what do you think? Your opinion? At what point in time in life now, with where you're at, your mentality in life? You know, I probably have a line that if I gave it a couple of seconds, I could probably define it pretty well. But I want to know where your line is now. Let's say you've got someone who's been in your life for a while, a friend, whatever the bond is there. At what point do you cut that person loose because maybe they use you as a shoulder to cry on or a crutch too often, and you're not learning the lessons that I'm giving you, you're not taking action, and it's beginning to weigh on me in a very negative way, I need to let you go. Where's that line for you?
Well, I call it the dance, right? I call it the dance where someone comes and they holler at me, offload all the boohoo and all that. And I sit there and I'm patient. I'm actively listening. I'm getting an understanding of what's going on. And we're communicating. We're going back and forth. For me, summarizing what they said, they understand that I understand. You know what I'm saying? We're on the same page. Me giving them my personal opinion, right? Based upon my own wisdom, knowledge gained. Not to say that it's right or wrong. It's just something to give them something to think about in terms of what my perspective. That's it. Case closed. We do that enough times over and over and over where you're still in that same situation. And the thing about it, it's not that you haven't, it's not that they didn't listen to me. Fuck me. Who am I? I'm just something that you can bounce ideas off of, someone who just gets where you're coming from. My thing is, what are you going to do for you? You know what I'm saying? So if you're not going to do for you and you're content with where you are, and it's been now 2 years, 3 years, you know, tick, 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 tick. Now I'm over it. I'm tired of hearing the same fucking story. I'm tired of hearing the same fucking excuses. You're not trying to help yourself. You just want to vent and you want, like, for me, it's like attention, right? You're not actually looking for change. You just want to bitch. Yeah. You just want somebody to be like, oh, well, you know, and the thing is, I don't give a fuck about what's going on with you when you choose to be there. So my thing is, I'm going to disconnect now. I'm going to fall back. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to let you do your thing. And it's not to fall back so that you know the value that I gave to your life. Absolutely not. I'm falling back because you talking to me, you gaining your insights from outside ain't helping you. You need to start digging in deep. And you need life to whoop your ass for a while. You know what I'm saying? And you need to sit with that. And you need to let, and I would hope that during that time, you learn something. You know what I'm saying? You went out into the wilderness in your mind, dealt with your devils and your demons, did some battle, and came out victorious and said, this is how I'm going to move from now on, and I'm never going to let this happen to me again. And now you understand where Salt's coming from when he's talking. So let me, you know what I mean? Because this is the shit that I've had to do for myself.
Let me give you an arbitrary, completely made up statistic. I would be willing to bet. Okay. I'm just going to make it up. Make it up right now. I've not done any research in the numbers that I'm about to throw out there. Like this is completely out of Papa's
99.9%.
This is completely This is straight out of the book of Papa Joe bullshit. I would be, but you've heard of the 20-80 law, right? So 80, yeah, exactly. Principle. So 20% of the people, do 80% of the work. 80% of the people do 20% of the work. The downfall to that is that the 20% though that are doing 80% of the work can't do 80% of the work without the 20% supporting them with those menial 80% or 20% tasks, right? So there's even though some are giving more, others are giving whatever they think they can give, right? They're giving their max capability because we're not all created equal, right? So what you and I can give to a relationship may not be what other people can give to a relationship. But if they're giving 100% of their effort to a relationship, that has to be recognized because not everyone is capable of giving the same things. So I say that to say this though, right? So my line here would be if I recognize that someone is doing all they can and, they need a shoulder to cry on or someone to vent to, I get that, right? But just so long as they're not just taking my time, but they're offering something in the way of appreciation that I was there for them. Okay. Now, along the lines of the 80-20, here's where the arbitrary number comes. I would be willing to bet that 80% of the folks we give our time to don't ever fucking do shit with it. They probably only receive 20% of what we're telling them, and they never actually fucking do anything with it. And maybe 20% of the folks that we talk to take 80%, and they actually take it and they apply it and they do something with it. Of the conversations that I can think of that I've had with folks in the last couple of years along these same lines, and we're talking about dozens of folks that I've had a very similar conversation with, where they were like, hey, like, I want to get on your level. First of all, my level is not a monetary thing. My level is a mental thing, right? To get on a Salt and Papa level is not about how much money you got in the bank. It's about getting on this wavelength where you can communicate in an intelligent fashion, and you can do the whole mind over matter. Think outside of yourself, find a way to fucking win, and move the fuck on. Apply the principles that are given to you. I used this example before. If there's a book that says, I guarantee you'll make $1 million if you apply the principles in this book, would you read it? You better fucking read it. If you don't apply the principles, though, the book is worthless to you. It doesn't do anything. And I've had one person in particular I could think of right now that you and I both know that has applied the principles that you and I have instilled in them and come back to us with appreciation tenfold, right? There's a handful of others that have done it to a similar degree, but there's only one person that I'm thinking of right now, and I'll leave their name out of it, that has come back and gone, you guys were right. I was fucking this up. I listened to you. I'm now applying it. And their life has now changed for the better forever.
So, I mean, like, it's in terms of someone's capability, everyone has varying capabilities, which is outstanding. No one has to be necessarily a brain. No one has to be all brawn. You know, everyone brings to the table is their own style, and that's outstanding. We got to have that. I think when it comes to me, when I start shutting down on folks is when it has nothing to do with the amount of effort that they're applying. You know what I'm saying? Their effort is there. The work ethic is there. They want to do better. You know what I'm saying? And if they're coming to me like, shit, man, like it's just frustration in terms of I'm pushing, and I just can't get through. I get that. That conversation I can have all day. I don't mind that. I like to see people hustle. I like to see people working. The conversations that I get frustrated with is that when people are saying this person or whatever who is in their life by choice, not because you work with this person, you know what I'm saying? Not because whatever, like this is someone that you've chosen to have in your world. You can't stand them. They do X, Y, and Z to you on a regular basis, and yet you're still there. That doesn't make any sense to me, and that's when I end up walking because I'm just like, you know what? You're choosing this lifestyle. You're choosing to be frustrated. And maybe, and this is what happens like a lot of times, right? I see, now granted, they don't want to admit this shit. They want to call it love. They want to call it whatever they want to call it. On some level, they're using this person for something. You know what I'm saying? For living, finances, whatever. And they don't, for me, in my mind, I'm thinking like, that's the only reason why you're there. You see, because there's something else that ties you to that person, not just because of love or anything like that. It's because if you leave, your lifestyle is going to change significantly. So they have you dead to rights.
You're afraid you're going to have to operate on your alone. And so many folks are afraid of doing that shit. Like, oh my God, I can't leave this. I can't leave this relationship. He beats me, but if I walk out of this relationship, I don't have anything. But then at that point, you have freedom. You can't fucking put a price on that shit.
You got to start work. You got to operate in a different. And this is kind of like what I was saying earlier to start this thing, is that when people are doing whatever and you're frustrated, and that appreciation piece, right? Your option is to dip. Now, who says like, okay, if you're in a situation where you're getting beat, whatever, you know what I'm saying? That sucks. However, you can now, time is now something that you have to work in your favor. Take the time to develop yourself and work your way out of that situation. Like anybody has to do when they're coming out of very dire conditions growing up. You have to work your way out of that condition. If you're coming out of anything, if you're having to fight and struggle on a daily, like you're having to do that just to come out. So if you're in a situation where your significant other is doing whatever to you, or it's just a bad, toxic environment, you want out of there, but you don't have the resources, the tools necessarily right now to get up out of there, get them. You know what I'm saying? And this is where it gets crazy, right? This thing right here, this lovely thing right here has all this information that we are looking at videos and looking at pictures and laughing and hee and ha and all that shit. Ain't nobody really using it to get the tools that they need to get the hell up out of their situation. You know what I'm saying? No one's in here trying to figure out any way to come up. They're just using it to fuck around. And then they complain and they boo-hoo about shit. And I got nothing for you.
Let me submit this to the conversation. Okay. So you said something a minute ago that triggered a thought, if you will, right? And this is truly just for people who are maybe listening, who might be in some form of situation like we're talking about, right? Like, and it doesn't have to be the extreme, like, you know, you're getting beat or whatever else, you know, at home. And it's just, you don't like where you're at. You don't like where you're at. It could just be a roommate, right? You don't like your roommate, whatever, but you guys,
I just want to be alone.
You know? You feel like whatever, you're stuck somewhere because you're dependent on someone else for some, you know, intangible reason. Let me submit this. Okay. When I was very young, I had a mentor. I got out of a relationship and I had a mentor tell me, he goes, look, man, it's not going to be easy, but don't pick up the phone. Don't text them. Don't call them. Don't email them. You know, this is before, like, you know, really social media was a huge thing, right? So it wasn't like you could do this social media stalking bullshit that people do these days. He goes, give it 6 months. Give it 6 months. So what I mean by that, and actually it was about 6 months. It was about 6 months to that day. I took a lot of time, reflected on myself. You know, I had him to fall back on. He was always there, you know, willing to talk to me and stuff like that, you know, but it kept me from trying to go back to a very toxic relationship that I didn't need to be in. And 6 months later, I was like, fuck, I'm over it. I'm good. I can operate freely again. So my point in saying that is it takes fucking time. These folks who are out here, they're concerned like, oh my God, I don't know how to get from A to B or get what I want in life. And if I walk away from this, I'm not going to have anything. And I don't know how long it's. Give it 6 months. 6 months of reflecting. 6 months. Don't fucking stalk them on Instagram. You know what I mean? Don't fucking text them when you're drunk and feeling lonely at night. Don't answer the fucking booty call when they start missing you. You know what I mean? You know, like if it's not a physical, you know, intimate relationship, maybe it's just somebody, a family member, something like that. Dead them for 6 months. Get yourself in a healthier mental place and emotional place to where when you have a conversation with them next time, you feel real good about the fact that you're going into that conversation with a salt world mentality of, I don't give a fuck. And if you haven't changed in the last 6 months, I'm okay walking away from this phone call going, you know what? Fuck you then. And now you're dead. You are dead to me forever because you got yourself healthy. It takes time. You got to give it time.
People lack the discipline, man.
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy.
I've given that advice to folks on numerous bases. Like, you know what, man? Like, what I think you should do is stop answering the text. Don't call. Let them wear themselves out. Disconnect for a little bit. Go dark. Like I said, go dark for a while and get your mind right. And then, I kid you not, that lasts for like a day and a half. And they're like, well, I had to text him. No, you didn't.
You're fucking weak. You're fucking weak is what happened.
Oh, I, in my mind and my soul, I would love to say that, but I'm like, you know, what's that gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I know, I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you lack discipline, which is why your life is what it is. Simple as that. You're not taking ownership for your shit at all, and you're thinking that, well, giving in on a regular basis is gonna change something. No, it's not. You're looking crazy out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? And I got nothing for you. So now, right, if that's where you want to move, and I don't operate like that. So if you operate like that, then you need to go find people like that who are going to sympathize with you and kiss your ass. I'm not the dude. You want to come up. You want to improve. You want your life to get better. You want peace? Holla at me.
You know how the difference between, you know, the boss, the queen bee versus the fucking worker bees out here? You know, my opinion only. The boss has the ability to separate and separate immediately. You know, it's like, look, man, like it's not easy to be a boss. Have you ever had to fire somebody? Rhetorical question again, not talking to you specifically, talking to anybody who's listening. Have you ever had to fire somebody? Have you ever had to fire a friend? You know what I'm saying? Like this shit is not easy, but the boss mentality dictates that you do what is necessary to survive. And if that friendship is a mature enough friendship, you having to fire them for some reason or correct them for some reason, discipline them for some reason. Look, I got friends out here. I have friends. We have friends that earlier in my career, earlier in my life, I should say in my 20s and stuff like that, I had friends who were good enough friends. So let me submit this. Friends who were good enough friends to pull me to the side and go, hey, man, you are fucking up. Mm. Now, it takes a very mature person, one, to pull someone aside and say that out of the goodness of their heart. It takes also a very mature person to take that feedback, that specific feedback, and not get butthurt about it and be like, oh, you hurt my feelings. You told me I was fucking up. I was like, you know what? I had to learn when to shut the fuck up and put my ego to the side. Because, Bubba, let me tell you something. I had a fucking ego in my 20s. Boy, did I have a fucking ego. Oh my God. I haven't, to my closest friends, you and I met towards our late 20s, but my closest friends at that time, they can contest. Like, I had a fucking ego that you could not contend with. It was just stupid. It was stupid. It was dumb. And I was dumb, but we're all dumb in our 20s. Take the feedback for what it is. You're fucking up. Understood. You know what? You're right. What you said a minute ago. The ability to tell someone in that moment, you're right. Let me take a step back and reflect on what I'm doing and how it's, because it's not all about you. And again, not you as in Saul, but you as in anyone who's listening. It's not always about you. Quit being fucking selfish in the conversation. Look at how what you're doing is affecting the people around you. And once again, take some fucking personal responsibility and man or woman the fuck up and change your life so that your bullshit does not affect everyone else around you anymore before they fucking dead you for good.
I mean, so, with that in mind, going back to like appreciation piece, right? I'm gonna tell you like this, folks, man, like get what you need. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I don't operate, like I said, I don't need high fives. I don't need shit. I'm kind of like self-sufficient in many ways. I don't emotionally attach myself to shit. And granted, like, not that I live some monk lifestyle. That's just a lie. That's just not the case. But I'm just not that dude. I'm just not. The things that I care about, I've shrunken down my world, right, to the essentials, the essential people, the essential things. And I'm very content with that. That's just me, and everybody's different. I had all the nice stuff, the lavish things, at least what I could afford at the time. And it didn't make me any happier. So I was like, if I start chopping down, let's see what that life's like. Come to find out, I'm still here. I'm not dead. And I'm happy. I'm content. So the thing about it at the end of the day, in terms of appreciation, get what you need. Have the people around you that give you what you need. We talked about love languages and shit like that before. If your love language is, the words of affirmation and da-da-da-da, get what you need. Have those people around you that are going to give you that. Now granted, not everybody has to give you exactly what you need, but they should be benefiting you on some level. But if you see, like, people are going to show you who they are. It's just a matter of time. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can keep up that front. That representative can't be there forever before it starts breaking down. You start seeing the real with people. You know what I'm saying? When you meet someone out the gate, you're going to get someone that you don't know. So they're going to show you all the good. You're not going to see that attitude. You're not going to see that assholishness, that bitch, whoever that person is truly, right? That evil side of them. And then at that point, you have to see if you can even handle that. Like, we all got it. I know I got it. I tell people up front, listen, I know how I can be. So let me tell you this up front. So when you see it, because it's just inevitable. You hang around me long enough, you're going to see it. That's not the best light I like to show.
What are you talking about? You're a fucking sweetheart, Saul.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, like, it's but like, it's just kind of like, but for me, I'm upfront about it all. Like, I'm very open about, who I am and what I'm about. And I don't want people to sit there and make me something that I'm not, because I'll call bullshit real quick. No, that's not me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not me all the time, but you're making me someone that I'm not some saint just because I have self-control.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, like I said, whatever you need out of those that are closest to you, especially the people that you frequent on a regular, get that. If these people are unwilling to give you that in any way, shape, or form, or you're having to force people to do that, to drop them. You know what I'm saying? You're better off by yourself. I know people are very social. Shit. Go to a bar. Go chop it up there. Go home. You know what I'm saying? Like, having people around you all the time. Now, granted, I'm just a different type of dude. I know that. I know a lot of people are very social. For me, I went through COVID. Not a problem. I prefer to be dolo. that's me. I'm a solo type of dude. I'm a lone wolf. That's just how I'm built. That's how I made myself. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? I've always been like that, though. Since I was a kid, I like to go out and go do my own thing. I don't need to have an entourage. I don't need to have people. I mean, it's nice, but like, I don't know. I'm just how I am. So, when it comes to stuff like that, it's just like
you talked about love languages again. It spawned a thought, right? Just another little insert into the conversation. I think love languages differ between relationships. So I would say, right? So like, you could probably apply love languages to anything, but I don't need, with my relationship with you as a friend,
I'm not gonna say I don't touch.
I don't need.
You know what I'm saying? Touch me, Joe. Oh, that's
look. Let's be clear though. If you needed it,
I'm never gonna ask you.
I can't even say it out loud. I can't even say it. I'll give you a hug if you need a fucking hug. Yeah. I'll tell you. Look, so I'll tell you, you are a beautiful man.
Be okay.
Look,
but you know what though? I'm telling you this though. No. There are people that need that though, right? Like there's some people that need that, and the things it has not. It's no homo, right? It has nothing to do with that. Right? There's some people that would just
you know me. I'm a fucking hugger. I don't give a fuck what people have defined me as in the first 5-6 episodes.
Absolutely.
When I see a friend, like a true friend, I met a buddy, a couple of acquaintances and a friend out here in Myrtle Beach, and I was like, nugs to one person, handshake to another out of respect, right? Because I know who I'm talking to, and I know that they, a good firm handshake, that's what they need. And then one of our other friends that I'm out here with walked into the room. I immediately stood up, and before I even got fully on my feet, he already had his arms out, like bringing it for the real thing. We're hugging this out right now. Like, yo, miss you, love you. Let's sit down. Let's have a drink. Let's talk about life. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's,
it definitely happens. Like I've,
but that's that relationship appreciation piece. Yeah. With you and I, I don't need you to give me words of affirmation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but that's that preemptive aspect of our relationship. Like you and I, we give to each other without thinking about it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but I mean, it's just I don't know. There's no when you're in sync with individuals, it's just understood.
I want to give an example. I want to give an example for people who are listening so they understand. Like, because here's the thing. We talk about getting from A to B. The hardest part about getting from A to B is there's no instructions for it, right? So I like to give examples to give people an idea, something to think about, right? So with my wife and I'm very much a physical touch, words of affirmation thing. But that's because I want to know I'm doing good for her as a man. And I've tried to get over it. I really have. I've tried to get over especially the words of affirmation piece because it's like, yo, you're a man, you're holding it down. That should speak for itself. It does. But if your wife is over there evil glaring you all the fucking time, this is not my particular, situation scenario. But I still want to know, like, hey, she is an alpha, which is probably what drives that so much, I'm also an alpha male. And you would think like, oh, you're an alpha male, you don't need words of affirmation. Bullshit. When you're in a relationship with another alpha and on any given day they can show you the fuck up, it might be helpful, to hear them be like, babe, I really love you. I know you hold it down. I'm just saying, purely as an example. However, when it comes to our relationship, Salt and Papa, I can tell you that, I'm sorry about the sniffing. Those of you who are listening, I told you it was cold. I'm still here and it's still cold. So it's driving the sniffles. But anyway, this man right here, drove to where I live, which is roughly about 5 hours from where he lives, just to be there for my 8-year-old's birthday party. That to me solidifies and cements our relationship. Because we do those sorts of things for each other. You know what I mean? So you show up for the girls' birthdays, and at some point, I'm sure I'll do something for you. But
well, I mean, it's which you have. You know what I mean? But it's I don't know. There's like I said, once again, like the expectation of like any relationship. Like, yeah, I mean, if I'm able to do it, I do it. But I also don't exhaust myself with all my relationships, because not all my relationships, not all do they require, nor do they qualify for that type of, for me exerting myself in that way.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like for me, I pick and choose with that. And the thing about it on top of that is that not all of my relationships require me to exert myself all the time. Some relationships of mine, they're very needy. And it's not needy in a good way. It's needy in a way where, like I said, I fall back. Because I'm like, you know what? It ain't about us. It's about you and you driving me fucking insane. You know what I'm saying? So I think I'm going to opt out. When it's always me having to make the move all the fucking time. We can't even meet in the middle because you can't be bothered. I see that. I'm tracking that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to fall back. You know what I mean? Next time I'm having to drive an hour and some change just to come hang out because you can't get off your couch. It's like I didn't want to get off my goddamn couch. I'm in my sweats. I'm in chill mode. I ain't leaving the damn house. Period. Dot.
Right.
So, I mean, it's all that. If you're not feeling it, if you're not getting what you need, get it. No one's going to give it to you. You have to force the issue and get it yourself. And sometimes when it comes to family, especially, they have an expectation that you're going to just do because you're blood. And they have another thing coming when they're dealing with someone like me. You know what I'm saying? I have cut people off. And my life has been better for it. I don't lose no sleep. I didn't skip a beat. I actually leveled up getting rid of them. So it doesn't matter about that, in my personal opinion. Now, other people, they battle with that, right? And they let these people drag them to hell. I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? I prefer to enjoy this life in the short time I'm going to have on it. And I don't want to let people who don't want to do for themselves have any impact on my life and the abundance that I want to create for those and those that I care about, that I'm tight with. You know what I'm saying? For the fam that is beautiful, for the friends that are outstanding, and the people that I rock with, so that when the tide comes in, we all come up. Let me talk. People who show up after the fact miss me.
Let me talk to the other folks who are listening maybe right now, who probably disagree with everything we're fucking saying. And the thing is, they're probably part of the fucking problem. They are the fucking problem. And I'll tell you why. If you're somebody, you know what? I'll change that only slightly. Even if you aren't the problem, to maintain a healthy relationship, and you're going to ask somebody for something, right? I've asked you for things before, and nothing really comes to mind right now, but I guarantee you've been like, yo, I got to fall back. I know you've told me I got to fall back on multiple occasions. You have to be willing to accept that answer. That's part of being in a healthy relationship. You can't just expect people to be there at your beck and fucking call all the goddamn time. You have to be like, hey, man, can you do this? Can you be here for this? I really would appreciate this. And them saying no, that doesn't mean they don't love you. It doesn't mean they don't like you. It doesn't mean they're disrespecting you. It just means that maybe they have a higher priority thing going on in their life, and you need to recognize that their world does not revolve around you. Right? So if they if you ask somebody for a fucking favor, even if they've given you that favor before, maybe because this seems to be the common thing, especially with me, folks asking me for fucking money, like, yo, I'm over that. The answer is no. And it doesn't matter how much money you think I have. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It's the
Get out of my pocket.
It's the fucking principle. Yeah. I don't loan folks money. And there's only like one person in my life that I will give money to. And that's because it's only, and it's honestly, of all the people who have asked me for money, it's the one person who's never asked, but probably needs it the most. It's also the one person who has done the most for me in my life. Right? I mean, take a guess as to who you think that might be. But I could never give enough back to this one individual. You know what I mean? And yes, it is a family member, but again, I'll leave names and titles out of it. But then I have other folks, friends and family friends. I call them friends, acquaintances, people I wish weren't in my life anymore. And you know what? Come tomorrow, they might not be after having this conversation. I don't need any more friends. I don't need any more people asking me for shit. I have a wife. I have 2 little girls. I have a company. I have a podcast with you. I have so many different things going in my life in the direction I want to go. I need folks in my life who are contributing, not just fucking taking. And if you can't deal with that, get on my fucking level. Listen to what I've been fucking saying and do something about it. Take 6 months to yourself. You know what? Here's what I would invite. Anyone who we know who's listening to this podcast right now and they feel like, oh, he's talking about me. First of all, I'm probably not fucking talking about you. Quit being so goddamn selfish. This isn't about fucking you, right? Get out of your own fucking way. But if you do want to take it personally and you think I am talking about you, text me tomorrow. Whenever tomorrow is for when you listen to this, text me tomorrow and go, hey, Joe, Papa, I'm falling back for 6 months. I need to do some self-reflecting. But in 6 months, I'm going to get back at you and I'm going to tell you how successful I've been. And I'm not talking about monetary success. I'm talking about you have gotten over your fucking demons. Show me how you have grown as an individual, and then I'll fuck with you again. Until then, quit fucking with me because all it's doing is wasting my fucking time, and I don't have fucking time. I don't have fucking spare time. And any spare time I do have, I guarantee I'm not giving it to somebody who wants to bitch and whine all the time. I'm going to give it to my little kids who fucking deserve it. I brought those little people into this world. They fucking need me. I brought them into this world. It wasn't even their choice. So people who are making the choice to be in my fucking life right now, don't be in my life if all you're going to do is consume my time and take from me. I don't need you here. Sorry.
Agreed. No, absolutely. No, it's, and then that's once again though, right?
Sorry, I'm not sorry. I meant sorry to you, not sorry to everybody else. Fuck everybody else.
No, I think that's good. Like it's just that though, right? Draw the hard line and see who is game to level up. Who wants to meet you there? I want to do better for myself. I'm done with this lifestyle. I'm done doing this. I'm done doing that. It's time to do better. So this is what I'm going to do. Like, you know, if I'm hanging out with, if you're, let's just say I'm out of shape, which luckily I'm not. I mean, but just say if you're out of shape, right?
You're looking a little pudgy. It could be the camera. It could be the camera. I don't know. It could be the camera.
Okay, look, I'll take you to something else. I'll take you to something else, right? Like, but you know, if there was a time where I felt like, okay, like I felt very, I was having my own little, because like I said, it's hard. I don't really move to other people's drum. Like I kind of just do my own thing, just what it is. You mean? But like if you're hanging with, like just to say for example, you're hanging with a bunch of people who are living an unhealthy lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like, you say you're just eating all kinds of crap. You're not doing nothing clean. Your body's just out of shape.
You're sitting there smoking and drinking all the time.
Yeah. I mean, you're doing these things, right? And the thing is, you feel miserable, and you're just saying to yourself, you know what? I want just better. Like I'm kind of like over this. Like I want to do better. And so you start saying, okay, you know what? Like I want to clean up my diet. I'm going to start going to the gym. I'm going to start jogging. And so then you're saying like, hey, like everybody, like come do this with me. Like let's just do this together. Like let's start working out together. Let's start eating better. And they're like, man, you're crazy. Like, nah, man. Like they want to continue. Their minds are still there. Yours is changed for whatever reason why you saw something, you're feeling something, your gut's telling you I got to do something else. Leave. Do your own thing, right? You don't have to stick to the script and do what the other people are doing. Do your own thing. Move to the beat of your own drum. You know what I'm saying? And draw that boundary where it's like, you know what? This is what I got to do for me. This is going to be for my own sanity, my own peace of mind, for my life. You know what I'm saying? You only got one life. So when folks are doing other things for other people, now this is kind of like going back to what I said initially. You know, she's exerting herself, all this energy for other people who don't appreciate what she's doing, what she's on a regular basis. And I told her, I think you need to fall back. Let them be, love them from a distance, because they don't appreciate what you do. And as soon as you dip, not to say initially the shock is going to make them be like, oh my God, wait, what are you doing? Don't fall for that. They haven't learned shit. Stick to the script. Do what you're doing and get yourself out of there. Their minds aren't going to change overnight. Like you said, it's going to take time.
It's going to take
time is going to make them, because the thing is, based on their movements from that point forward, will let you know what they're about.
Yeah.
I don't listen to shit someone tells me. They show me. That's, if you want to talk about love language, that's my style. People know based upon what I do, you know how much I value you. I will do for people. I'll break my back for people. I do that on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I don't give a damn what is said. It's what I see. You know what I'm saying? If people are saying, yo, I got you, I'm gonna hold you down, I see that. I take that with a grain of salt, no pun intended. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so and this is what I told her. I was like, yo, you stick to your script, you get yourself right, you get what you need for you. Let them sort themselves out. You can still be there, you can still contribute, you can still support, but you don't have to live in hell with them. Let them sort themselves out. And you're talking about right now, this individual is learning a life lesson. I'm interested to see how they come out of it. You know you need to burn in hell for a little bit in order to sort your life out.
So it's funny though that you say that, because you know what intrigues me a little bit, and intrigues me in the form of disappointment. Truly, is you watch folks who you cut them off, and then you watch how hard they work to latch on to someone else that they can suck at the teat from. And yet they don't work that hard to just benefit their life for the better, to become self-sufficient. They'll work so hard to take from other people, but they won't work that hard to become self-sufficient. Like what the like those sorts of folks, those sorts of folks, dead them now. They don't
leeches,
need to be,
man.
Yo, those folks,
leeches.
You'll
They'll
never
suck you dry, man. They'll suck you dry for your resources.
Emotionally,
they'll suck you dry for your emotionally, and your greatest resource is your time. They'll suck your time. So while you're sitting there, like, and the thing is, and this is what gets fucked up, right? And this is where like the game gets really screwed up. You're sitting there with these individuals, and you're trying to be a good friend, right? You're trying to be a good friend. You're like, yo, hey, like, I want to be there for you. I care, right? You're trying to show them that you care. You're giving them your time. You're sitting there, da-da-da. One time you do that. 2 days later, here we go again. 2 days later, here we go again. And then after a while, you kind of notice like this pattern, especially if you're like a different, more elevated type individual, right? You're just like, yo, like, I'm giving this person, like, and the thing is, they're hitting you up and you know you got shit to do. And you're like, fuck, like, okay, let me, I'm going to pick up the phone. And then it gets to the point where now you're looking at your phone when it's ringing, and you're like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to pick up the phone. So when you get to that point,
that's the fucking
drop
worst.
them.
Yeah.
Drop them. Because at that point, when you're looking at your phone, you're just like, you already know it's going to, first and foremost, you already know it's going to come out of the goddamn mouth, right? You already know you're going to feel like shit at the end of that conversation. And you know that there's nothing that's going to benefit you being on that phone with them. You should probably not pick up, and you should start taking steps to distance yourself. So instead of picking up your phone every time they call, maybe every 3 to 4 calls, pick up to see this. Maybe something's changed. You already know it's probably not, but you can still kind of be there, but start distancing yourself. And then eventually they're going to get they're going to get the point. And then that's what, like, to your point, that's when they're going to find somebody else. They're going to stop calling you. They're going to find somebody else to leech on, and they're going to start draining them of their time and energy. But now at least you're freed up. You know what I'm saying? And now what you can do is just love them from a distance. When you see them, like, hey, what's going on? How's things? And then you go back into your life and go do your own thing. It ain't about me having phone calls with you. I've had to cut. This is in the last month, 2 months now. I have significantly I made a huge chop going into my 30s, big time. But in this last month or so, I deaded a few. So I was like, you want to act like a little kid. You ain't trying to grow up. You know what I'm saying? You aren't even sitting down and taking the time to analyze your mistakes, to analyze your lives, and break down all the experience that you had and extract the beauty, the good, bad, the ugly of what you are. You haven't even done that. You're refusing to do that. You know what I'm saying? And you're dragging your feet. And so now you want me, I can't help you define your life. I can't help you do nothing. I can give you the stuff that I did. I read an immense amount of stuff and I got my head in order. But like a lot of people, they want this magic pill that's going to fix everything. But kind of like, I think we brought this up before, maybe not, but like, it's like the 300 men, when they sent their sons out into that wilderness. Oh yeah. You came back, you were a man. Yep. But when you were out there in that wilderness, you dealt with your demons. You dealt with your fear. You dealt with survival. You dealt with all these things that hardship makes you what you are. It strips you down of your bullshit. Your ego's out the door, all that. You are now having to it's like going to like a basic military training. Like they strip you down of everything to this bare bones human, and then they rebuild you in how they want you to be. It's exactly what goes on when you start dealing with that hard stuff in life. Your ego has been stripped of you because obviously you don't know shit. or you wouldn't be here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or you wouldn't be here. So if you start losing all that and you find yourself at rock bottom, I told this to my little brother, I was like, if you ever hit rock bottom, which inevitably everybody does, you hit
we
that.
all do. We all
it
do.
It is a pivotal point. It's a beautiful point.
It also happens multiple times in life. It doesn't mean you're failing. It happens at different points in your life. It's necessary
because you have to, once again, go back to the bare basics.
It's like driving down a fucking road, man. Like inevitably you are going to hit a dead end. That doesn't mean it's the fucking dead end. It just means reevaluate, adjust your course, and find another way to keep trucking.
Yeah, but that first one though, it's brutal because you don't know that. You don't know that. I've had these moments over and over and over. That first one was brutal because I'd never been there before.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, they go to that place, they don't come out. That's that bullet to the head. That's that jump off the building. I hit dead end.
But here's what I'll submit, right? I keep saying that. Either way, whatever. I like that term. I will submit this. I daily hit dead ends. That's how I know I'm being successful. I have reached the end of so many goals and objectives that I am constantly hitting dead ends where I'm like, all right, adjust the course. You know what that means to me, though? It means I'm doing things that people haven't done before. I'm changing the game in my own mind. I'm blazing new trails where I'm like, okay, there's not a book out here that tells me how to do this. There's not a fucking blog out here that tells me how to do this. I don't have a friend or a mentor who has been down this path before, so now I'm the one doing it for the first time. Fucking nut the fuck up and get after it. Now, let me change that only slightly. Not slightly. I'm going to go 180 degrees on this conversation. You ready? For those folks who are listening, who are thinking they're in our particular predicament when it comes to this stuff, like, yo, people are always taking advantage of me, da-da-da-da-da. They think that they can take from me all the time, blah, 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 blah. Think about those who only give to you. And pick up the phone and call them and ask them how they're doing.
Yeah.
Don't call them and say, hey, man, like, think about the folks you lean on constant. Right? And you're like, oh man, when I have a hard time, whatever. I got a couple of mentors in my life that I know for a long time. All I did was fucking take from them. And they were so gracious with their time, but they saw something in me where they were like, it's worth the investment, right? There's an investment there. And now what I do is anytime I think about them, right? You can get into that whole law of attraction, quantum physics type of stuff, Rhonda Byrne, which I've talked about before, the attraction factor. If randomly you start thinking about somebody who's given you a lot in your life, but you haven't talked to them in months, I guarantee you they're probably thinking about you too. Pick up the fucking phone and don't call them and say, I'm doing this, that, and the other, unless they ask. Pick up the phone, and when they answer, because they will, ask them how they're doing. And just watch what happens. Watch what happens. It'll probably be one of the most beautiful conversations you'll ever have.
Absolutely. It's not... it's stuff like that. It's very simple. You know who's for you. You know who's not for you. Stick to those who are for you. Shrink up your world. We're talking shrink it all the way up. You know what I'm saying? You should. I mean, at the end of the day, you're probably only going to have like maybe 10 legit friends in the grand scheme of things.
That's all you fucking need. You got more than that. You're not giving them enough time.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're
you
being
can't,
honest,
you
like,
can't have 100 best friends. You just can't.
No, listen, that IG bullshit's for the birds. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you think about it, the people who actually are there for you, who rock with you, who come good or bad, at your worst, at your best, they're just like, you know what? All right, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Those are the people that are for you. Those are like your legit, those are your people, your tribe. And this is blood or not blood. You know what I'm saying? That's your tribe. You know, everybody outside of that, they need to what's the word? Like, basically not, they have to prove themselves. You know what I'm saying? To get into that, to be brought into the fold in that way. And it has to be shown over consistency, you know, over a long period of time. So my thing is like, just shrink it up and make, and like I always say, right? When life is getting crazy, super crazy, even like finances, when your finances are out of control and you're just hemorrhaging money, stop the bleeding, right? To stop the bleeding is just shut it down. Be quiet, be still, shut it down. turn that phone on airplane mode if you don't have no mute. I say put it on airplane mode because you don't need everything coming through. Put on airplane mode and spend a good week in just silence. And watch how that silence, find a way to be content with that and be happy with that. And start asking yourself, well, what do I need? And start making yourself happy through your actions.
And read.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't turn on Netflix.
Read books.
Don't turn on Netflix. It's easy to get lost. Like, not even, no, fuck that. Fuck that. I'm sorry, dude, but fuck that. Read. And I'll tell you why. It's easy to start to what do they call it when you rapid fire Netflix shit? Binge watch, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's easy to fucking binge watch things, and because that numbs, it suppresses your brain to a point where you don't have to think. That's the antithesis of what we're going for here. What we want you to do is think. Grab a fucking book. Pick up a book. I don't care what it is. I mean, there's a million books out there. Well, hold on. Here, hold on. I want to come back to that. I want your recommendations on reading 100% because you definitely read more than I do. But I will tell you, when I need to think, I read. And here's why. And I've alluded to this in previous podcasts. Because when I read, my brain starts going. And even if I'm not reading the words on that page, my brain goes over here. And now I'm thinking. And I'm dissecting what's going on with me. So something in that book may trigger something that I think about. But I'm not just sitting there just drooling on myself watching a fucking Netflix, Hulu, fucking HBO show. I'm thinking. Exactly. My brain is fucking working.
But that's because of what you're reading. And that's what I was saying before is like, if you're going to read, if you're looking for something like that, especially in particular, you don't go to the novels. You know what I'm saying? You go to something that's more of like a self-help that's going to stimulate that kind of question. You go to the
self-help? Yes.
Well,
go to Barnes & Noble and pick up fucking whatever. Think and Grow Rich.
That's the book that changed the game for me. Think and Grow Rich.
Rich Man, Poor Man. Like these are cliche books to throw, credit to.
It gives you ideas.
Thing is,
and the ideas is the point.
It might take you a month to read one of those. It took me a month. And it took me a month. One, Think and Grow Rich is a pretty big book, but it took me a month because I wasn't sitting there getting lost about a book talking about hobbits and fucking rings. I was in a book talking about self-help, and it made me reflect. Every chapter made me fucking reflect. Every page, every word made me fucking reflect. And I was like, all right, the book is now closed, and I'm sitting here just fucking reflecting. And I'm writing down these reflections. How do I fucking change? What do I do to be better? Holy fuck. Had I done this in this situation, who knows how it would have come out, man. Like, get away from the things. Like you said, go on airplane mode, turn the fucking TV off, grab a self-help book. I don't care what it is. And let that book get you lost in thought, because that thought you're going to have at that point is nothing but beneficial to yourself. Absolutely. If you take the appropriate action on it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. I mean, I've read a bunch of stuff just trying to sort myself out. From Dr. Wayne Dyer to Deepak Chopra to Malcolm Gladwell. I mean, Robert Greene, one of my all-time favorites. I mean, there's so many. You can even start getting into like the philosophers. You know what I'm saying? Like
my personal favorite is Dr. Seuss. I mean, that dude, you just can't fuck with him.
Yo, hey, you know what? What's that? There's one of his. No, the thing is, he drops a lot of knowledge, right? He drops a lot of knowledge. There's one, all the things. Well, what is? There's this one he does, all the things. Oh my god, I can't remember. But basically, like when you get out of school, like the world is available to you. And all the ups and downs, and he does it in such a poetic way. That is like my favorite one. I can't think of the name right now, but no, I mean, Dr. Seuss, he's not. I mean, he's not to be played with either. Now, granted, he's been banned from every library, to the best of my knowledge, because of something he said. I don't even know what book was written that was,
It's fucking bullshit, man. It's like that whole like banning Baby, it's cold outside. Yeah. I sent you that, man. I don't know if you looked at it or not, but there was a comedian who did a comparison. He said the same month, At the same time that Baby It's Cold Outside was being banned from playing on the radios, the number one song in the U.S. nation,
WAP. Yeah.
And then he read the lyrics from both as a comparison. It's like, y'all are fucked up, man.
No, because it's stupid, and everybody knows it's stupid. Oh, it's all the places you'll go. That's Dr. Seuss. That's awesome.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's to me. I think it's outstanding. I think they should read it after every high school graduation or at every high school graduation. I think it's great. But no, the fact that and that's the hypocrisy of what we live in, which is why I don't play by anybody's rules. 'Cause I think it's fucking stupid. You know what I'm saying? How are you gonna sit there and tell me I can't listen to Baby It's Cold Outside, but then WAP? Which, granted, I'm not knocking WAP. I mean, those ladies made a song that was a hit. And
I'm not knocking any of it. But
for them to say that one thing and they're not going to ban the other one is
you know who else got
stupid.
paid?
Oh,
these bitch ass folks who wanted to get offended by the lyrics and it sounds rapey. It sounds rapey, but yet you got some female artist talking about like wiping her vagina over some dude's nose like a fucking credit card. Like,
hey,
just
man,
shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
This is where I just kind of like whatever. Man.
STFU.
This is just the world we live in, where people don't know what the hell they're doing. If they're coming or going, they're not sure how to feel. Because one song, right? They're looking at it as women's rights, or women's liberation, perhaps. I don't know. And granted, I listen. For me, I don't have that as like it's not my workout. It's not my workout playlist.
It's fucking sickening, man. I hate.
It's a wild track, right? And the thing about it, like, yo, Cardi B.
No, not WAP. WAP is not sickening. I'm saying the mentality.
Oh yeah, it's going back to
the whole that's you want to claim you're offended by something. The people who were offended by Baby It's Cold Outside are probably not people who listen to hip hop music, and they probably weren't listening to WAP.
No. They heard it. They heard it.
Maybe they did. Maybe
they heard it.
Maybe they did.
They heard it.
They may have been up in the club fucking.
They're just picking and choosing.
Dropping it like it's fucking hot to that track. But you know what? They got paid off the other thing.
Yeah, because they're inciting
y'all are taking
the
fucking easy way out, man.
They're inciting a riot. They done heard some WAP. If you heard Baby It's Cold Outside, you know what I'm saying? You done heard WAP. And you know what time it is, but you're picking and choosing in terms of like who you're going to go after, who you're not. But it's not clear across the board.
I guarantee you were up in the club with the DJ playing his remix version of Baby It's Cold Outside, and you were fucking dancing along.
Hey, I mean, I think that is like a classic track. I think they should keep it going. I don't think they should let these onesies, twosies lose their fucking minds. I think a lot of this stuff needs to be reevaluated in terms of who people during the Great Witch Hunt, which is still going on. They need to reevaluate some of this stuff. It's not, you cannot apply I don't know when the hell some of these songs were made, but you can't apply 1940 standards to 2023. No. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a whole different era. You know what I'm saying? It's everything is different. You know what I'm saying? 1940s. I'm not going to say everything is different, but things are different.
You know what? 1940s had to do with speaking the truth. And guess what? With WAP,
listen,
in 2020s, speaking the fucking truth.
Absolutely. It's contemporary music. It's for the time. But no, Baby It's Cold Outside, it still happens now. Let's just be clear, right? It happens now. When I'm trying to keep a girl with me because I just enjoy her company, and I'm like, hey, like, you know, it's a long ride. You know, you got to go tonight. You know, let's watch another movie. Let's Netflix and chill. You know, I can order a pizza. Let's do this. It's the same thing. And she's like, well, okay, sure. Because I don't want her to leave. It ain't about me trying to smash her. It's just like I just enjoy her company. And I want to be with someone who I really find that I'm attracted to, that I'm drawn to. So let's just hang out a little bit longer, please. Like, all right. But like, you're trying to find the excuse to get her to stay. And she's like, well, I got to go. It's like, well, shit. And that's what it is. If he didn't push like that, he doesn't get the love of his life. That's what we're taught to do. Like, you know, it's just like, hey, like, you know, you keep seeing her, you say hello to her, Eventually, it's just like, hopefully she sees me. Eventually, I hope.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I guarantee. Look. This is my prerogative, right? Turns out they talk about women's prerogative. I have a fucking prerogative too. Here's my prerogative. Okay, if I'm this dude, it's fucking snowing outside. First of all, logic says, hey, don't fucking kill yourself trying to get home, right? Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Stay for one more drink. Look. Nothing about that is I'm trying to fucking rape you. Okay? There's a song by a very popular band in the 90s called Date Rape. That's the name of the fucking song. Bum, pum, 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 pum. No, it's not Tenacious D. Okay. Don't throw Jack Black under the bus like that. And I won't say the name of it because I'm not trying to get fucking sued. But here's the thing. I don't care. Like, I love the fucking song. The song is called Date Rape. And it's not about, like, it's not promoting date rape. It's a fucking story.
But what year did it come out? You said the 90s?
It's in the 90s.
Decade, man.
Here's the different era. Here's my point, though. Songs are a fucking story. They're not a biblical verse that is a right of this is how art. It has to be. It's here's a story. Here's something I experienced, and I put it to music, and some people can fucking relate. Some people relate the wrong way. It seems rapey. That happened to me, and then the guy raped me. Look, that's not that dude's fault from 1940s. The dude who raped you, that's not his problem. And I'm not trying to be inconsiderate of your feelings and what may have happened to someone. Look, first and foremost, you rape someone, you deserve to die. You're a piece of shit. Period. Died. I'll just say that right now.
Yep.
You are a piece of shit. And I totally agree with what they would have done with you in the fucking 1840s, which you raped somebody, they would have tied your nuts to a rope and attached you to a fucking horse, and they would have dragged you through the streets until your nuts got ripped off, and then you bled out from your dick. And you know what? You fucking deserved it. You fucking deserved it. You should never take advantage of a woman like that. Ever fucking ever. Yes, as men, we are bigger and stronger, typically, than the women we are pursuing. You pursue them the proper way. These songs are not representative of raping someone. It is actually, in my opinion, representative of exactly what we're doing now, which is where you're trying to keep someone that you have feelings for. You know? Look, man, my wife, you think my wife was like, oh man, I'm going to go home with you night fucking one. No, she was not. In fact, she told me very specifically to my face, you will have to work for me. Challenge accepted. Challenge accepted. And then I worked for her. But if you think I didn't come up with every fucking excuse in the book to get her when I wanted her. Yeah. And she shot me down on the fucking constant, you know? And I'll tell you what, 10 years later, Salt, she still makes me work. As she fucking should. Because the moment she lets me get lazy, the moment she just lets me kind of float through life, I stop being the man that she wants me to be. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yep.
I work for her approval because she deserves that.
Absolutely.
But in turn, she represents me and she gives me what I need to validate my existence in her life. It is a give and take. Going back to the appreciation part, you have to demand what you want out of other people. If you don't, they will take advantage.
Yeah, you become a rug. So yeah, it's you know.
Welcome to the fucking conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean it's a I guess you know what I mean. Like life is not. It doesn't get hard when you start dictating what you want. Dictate the terms. You know what I'm saying? And I think when you start dictating your terms, you'll find your tribe because they're moving the same way as you. There's a lot of people that are very disciplined and all that, and they want exactly what you want. You got to go find them, though. It ain't easy to find your people. You know, it ain't easy to find your people. So go get your people. You know, for me, if I want to hang around Jets fans, I know where to go. They're all congregated at the particular bar, and I go there and I hang with Jets fans. You know, if I don't want to be around everybody else, then I go to that place. You know, so you got to kind of know where your folks are. You got to know, first and foremost, figure out who you are so you can go ahead and you can identify who you want to be with. And that takes some soul searching. That takes some alone time. I believe in solitude. I say you should go into, be, alone for an extended period of time and ask yourself those tough questions and don't bullshit with yourself. Be very honest. Be cutthroat with yourself, and then get that answer, extract that knowledge and go and then act accordingly and then move forward. And then, that's just like the gist of it, man.
Folks, quit being fucking selfish. Quit being selfish, man. Appreciate those who allow you in their life.
I say, you know what? On the flip side, be selfish with your time. and your resources and know when to.
It's a balance. So it's
apply
a balance.
Them. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, listen, like, shit, you know, like when it comes to your time, people play games. You know, I think people have to be, you know, you really got to be selfish with that. Like, somebody say like this, right? Like, in terms of being selfish, we don't have a Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan isn't selfish and takes all that time to himself to work on his skills, work on himself to become Michael Jordan, right? He wasn't out hanging with his boys. Kobe, same thing, right? He's not out here hanging with people. He doesn't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? It's about him. It's about his craft. It's about mastering said craft on some next level Liberace type shit, right? This is why him being selfish allows us to appreciate his work of art, the masterpiece that he paints on a regular basis on that court. So I say be selfish, level the fuck up, because now everyone around you will benefit from your hard work. You know what I'm saying? It gives back in time. But if you're constantly giving right now, granted, and I'm just talking about like the timepiece, right? You don't have to be a dick as you do that. You don't have to be an asshole as you do that. However, be selfish with how you are going about your development. Because once you level up to the place where now you're comfortable and you have your world in order and it's sorted out, everyone around you who you maybe have put on the back burner, who understood that you were out there going after something, you now can give to them in not just a little way, in a big way. Now, first and foremost, and the biggest way is going to be how I got here. And me now giving you the tools to get you to the same place if indeed you want that. Now, granted, 9 times out of 10, people are going to look at that and be like, well, that's hard. Well, then you need to go take that walk. No, this you know, a lot of people don't do things because they look at the road and they're like, no, I'm trying to take the path of least resistance. Nobody wants that.
The path of least resistance, it's circular. All it does is lead you right back to where the fuck you started.
Well, but they won't know that until they take a few laps. And then they're just like, you know what? Yeah, well, no, and that's what I think what the 20s are for, right? Like, not everybody gets out of that. I know I took a few laps.
I think it's 20s and honestly 30s, man.
Early 30s.
You know, yeah. we're approaching the next. I'm going to call it the genesis of the next evolution of our lives, and
the next tier.
The next tier, and the thing is, the next tier for you and I, we haven't even scratched the surface. But I'm not sitting here pointing the finger at nobody saying like it's your fault why I'm here. I'm looking at the folks who are doing the things that I want to do in my 40s and going, how do I emulate that? How do I trailblaze for myself? Because here's the thing. Folks we look up to, 20 years our senior, they were trailblazers. But if you do what they did, you're not a fucking trailblazer. You're a fucking follower.
The blueprint's already made.
It's already been there. It's already been done.
Yeah.
Find a way to do something new. And if it seems scary, you know what? It's probably worth fucking doing.
Shit, if you're talking about something like that, a great motivator, read this book called The Startups. And it talks about Uber. It talks about Airbnb. And they talk about how they went from basically nothing to what they are now. It's a great book, actually. Like, just the come up. It's like, God, you know what I mean? Like, that's just, it's tough. Because I think I can't remember the CEO, if he's even CEO now. I mean, granted, I read the book, a few years ago. But Chesky, I think, is the CEO of the founder of Airbnb. But he's just talking about like how, we went to DC for this, I think it was a Million Man March or whatever. And they know, like, you can sleep on my couch. And just they started thinking these guys like, well, shit. They went back to Silicon Valley, got the funding, boom, boom, boom. And then next, you got Airbnb. And then same with Uber. They started with this thing. But, but it's not going to be easy.
Let me ask you this. Let's wrap up this session with this. Your top 5 books right now out the gate. Folks who are struggling. What comes to mind? Your top 5 books.
All right. Well, Steve, top 5 for various reasons. Number 1 is going to be Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. Okay. I think that got me kicked off on another level. It's another one. So here's another great book that I thought was 48 Laws of Power.
Okay.
Awesome book. Listen, Robert Greene. If I can just give you some authors.
Anything Robert Greene. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Robert Greene.
Okay.
Principles by Ray Dalio. It's a great book. Neil Strauss, The Game. I got a lot from that. I thought that was a great book.
Give me one more.
Another book, getting your finances right. If you want, go to The Godfather of Investing, Benjamin Graham. You know what I'm saying? You can read Security Analysis.
Done.
That's another one.
Done.
I mean,
don't go no further. Don't keep giving away
yeah.
all the secrets because you know me. I'm a big Rhonda Byrne fan. But
yeah,
look, we'll wrap it up with that because people want to get their mind right. People want to get on a certain level. Start think. Look, the information is out there. People have done the thought for you. All you got to do is pick it up and fucking read it, and then apply it. And
don't think that you're unique. Don't think that you are the only one who's gone through what you're going through, or don't think that, because as soon as you think that, you're already at a disadvantage. You are not the first person to go through what you're going through and dealing with what you're dealing with. There's been people before you, which is why I read a lot, because there's people who have lived it. And they have already done the thinking for you. All you have to do is just read it.
They've done the reading. They've done that. So the initial feeling, the initial, startup, you're not unique. But the thought you might have while reading these things could be the next big fucking thing. And in that moment, you are now unique.
Yeah, if you break it down, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, man.
I love you, man.
Get out there, do
Cheers.
your thing. Come by. I'm out of it. And
I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah, it's been real. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.